What's up everybody? Welcome to the video. So today I want to talk about some benefits of being an introvert. Now, generally in society, people tend to look at introverts as antisocial, shy, people who are not fun to be around. But what they don't understand is that being an introvert can actually be a good thing in many circumstances. And in fact, I'm going to talk about 5 benefits of being an introvert that will hopefully encourage you to embrace your introverted personality. So let's get right into it. So the first benefit of being an introvert is that they tend to be good listeners. Now, when I say that they're good listeners, they're not just listening to the words, they're actually paying attention to the ideas and they actually have a good understanding of what's being expressed. Now, now this is very important in a communication. In order to have an effective communication, yes, at some point you're going to have to speak in order to get the conversation going. But at the same time, listening is very important. In fact, I would argue that listening is even more important than speaking. Because generally, when someone talks to you, they want to be heard, they want to be understood. And so when you really take the time to listen to what they're saying and to understand what's being expressed, you can, in a way, develop a sense of trust from that person. And that person will really appreciate that. And so, as introverts, we may not talk a lot, but we tend to be great listeners. And that's one of the key benefits of being an introvert. The second benefit of being an introvert is that they think before they speak. So generally speaking, when introverts, before they speak, they tend to pause first, take a moment to process all the information that's given to them, and then share their thoughts. Now, unfortunately, in some cases, this can come off as a sign of weakness, but at the end of the day, this can save them a lot of trouble from blurting out things that may not make sense or they can be very inappropriate. And so, just by taking a moment to think and just choosing the words wisely, we can actually save ourselves the trouble of being disruptive or obnoxious or rude. And so that's one of the great benefits of thinking before you're speaking, and that's one of the great benefits of being an introvert. The third benefit of being an introvert is that they tend to be creative. Now, one thing that helps introverts be creative is that they tend to be in solitude. So generally when you're in solitude, you're not having a conversation with anybody because nobody's with you, right? I mean, you're by yourself. And so, when you're by yourself, that's when you really listen to your inner voice and pay attention to what's in your mind. And so when you pay attention to what's in your mind, you start thinking of so many thoughts and ideas, and you start looking at things from multiple perspectives. And I know from my personal experience, whenever I go for a walk by myself, or whenever I'm having meals by myself, or whenever I'm just lying down on my bed by myself, that's when I really get my creative juices flowing. And this is actually why so many entrepreneurs are so creative, and how they can come up with so many ideas. But in order to do that, they have to be in solitude, generally speaking, in order to get the creative juices flowing. And so, as introverts, since we tend to be spend time by ourselves, we tend to think with so many thoughts and ideas and be very creative with it. And that's one of the main benefits of being an introvert. The fourth benefit of being an introvert is that they tend to be independent. Now, again, introverts tend to spend time alone rather than with other people, right? I mean, that's their preference. And so because of that, they prefer to work on tasks by themselves. Let's say like you're the leader of the group, and when you're taking care of people who are introverted, generally you have faith that they will carry out their tasks and won't get distracted easily. This doesn't mean that introverts are not capable of working in groups or in teams. Of course they can work in groups, of course they can work with other people. But again, introverts feel more empowered when they get to work on their tasks on their own with little supervision. And so, when it comes to any tasks that require independence, that's where introverts tend to shine. And so that's a fourth benefit of being an introvert. Now, the fifth and final benefit of being an introvert is that they tend to cultivate deep and meaningful relationships. Now, this is personally why I'm so proud of being an introvert myself. One thing you have to understand about introverts is that they may not have a lot of friends. They may be very selective as to whom they allow into their circle, but whatever relationships or whatever friendships they have, those friendships tend to be of high quality. Now, compare that to an extrovert. An extrovert may have many friends, but those friendships may not necessarily be that deep or meaningful. They can be very superficial and shallow. Whereas for introverts, they don't have the patience to deal with superficial relationships, right? They want to develop deep and meaningful relationships where they can really be themselves and have deep and honest conversations. And for me personally, I can have fun meeting so many people, but I know that there's very few people whom I can develop deep and meaningful relationships with, especially with those who are like-minded and whom I can relate to. Now, developing deep connections is not going to happen overnight, obviously, right? I mean, it takes time to really know that person and to get the feel of how that person's like, and to just gain a sense of trust. But once that relationship starts to click, that's when I become more of who I am and just start sharing my thoughts and develop that deep connection with that person. I personally believe that having a few deep connections is far more valuable than many superficial ones, and so that's another great benefit of being an introvert. So those are the 5 benefits of being an introvert. What are the benefits can you think of? Let me know in the comment section, and if you have any thoughts or any questions about what I talked about, then again, comment below and I'll respond to them whenever I can. And if you'd like to learn more about what it takes to become a confident leader as an introvert, then please subscribe to my channel so you can stay in touch with the latest videos. That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.